All right, well, we definitely had to wait a bit for that match, but getting to go the entire distance, 13-11 in favor of Turtle Troop. Fans, they're a team that were down for the whole first half of that, but as soon as they got to their offensive, they're just on fire.
That's what we saw, right? When they played against Core last week as well, just being very, very strong on the attack side. Yeah, the Sage walls were a little bit different in terms of who they boosted where, but the main gist of how they worked around the map really didn't give a chance here for their opponents to get too much map control on the defensive side. So, if anything, there's not only like the main approach that you're trying to do when the barriers come up, there's been some incredible mid-round calling as well coming out from Stellar to actually allow TTR and certain disadvantages to capitalize on W's on their side. That was like a 2 versus 4, 2 versus 5. We talked about a 3 versus 4 that shouldn't have gone into favor here of TTR, yet they still converted in the end. And for them to have such a strong comeback on this first map when it looked like it was going to be MXS out the gates from the very beginning.
Yeah, and Stellar was someone that we talked about before the map that could really be a key to putting this all together. And there is a couple of moments where it looked like MXS could really spoil that for them. There is some great shots coming out from both teams, especially once everyone got cooking. But Shift, in the end, just that offensive pressure they were able to give. It makes me excited for the rest of the series, I'm not going to lie, because this could not have been closer.
Well, yeah, both these two teams top 4. This is about the result of the scoreboard we would have expected. Maybe not the fashion of how we got there, but I think the peculiar part and maybe the cooler part about this was how successful teams were, and not just getting the spike down, but how successful they were in holding it. And that has been, I think, largely the Gecko effect at, broad strokes, talking about the impact the agent has had, maybe not even the agent itself, but just Wingman has had. But then you reinforce that with the Sage, and it just makes that post plant so undeniable, so tough to take back. We saw similar stats over the course of their matchup versus Core, 10 out of 10. Perfect. So you've got every single round you got a plant in, which was almost every single offensive round you played, you were successfully hold it. That is just an overwhelming statistic.
Yeah, if there's any positive, at least that we could say here from that first map from MXS is that they didn't really fall into those fake traps that they had that MXS brought a lot with the Gecko. I didn't see a lot of over rotates when you had Adder coming out with a Thrash or a Wingman. So that was already studied in terms of a tape here from Mac and also from Fly to figure, or an Otoshima rather, to figure things out how TTR were running the map on Bind. But again, once you've figured out the game plan, but you still have to apply how it goes on your defensive side to get the most out of it for MXS. Unfortunately, it wasn't there, but they have an opportunity to at least turn it around here for the second map on their map pick that we've actually never seen, or haven't seen, sorry, in so many months. So they definitely have an upper hand when it comes down to that, and what elements of surprise that they could bring when they're going to fight against their opponents now.
I mean, that's the double upper hand when we're looking at map 2 in this series of Sunset, because this is a known quantity for Turtle Troop, and that it wasn't that great last time we saw it last week going up against Core. We got to see very one-sided map 1 and 2s, and this is the one where it was kind of the downfall for Turtle Troop. So the fact that MXS knows now what they can expect coming out from Turtle Troop, minus any change, which I would be welcome to, all things considered. For MXS, since we don't know anything about what they're going to play Shift, I'm really intrigued with them picking it. They haven't seen it in Challengers whatsoever.
Wasn't that good? Sierra, they won 2 rounds. One was on one was on their full buy when there was a bonus for Core. They looked terrible on it. They could not figure out anything. It got to the point by the end of the first half that Troop were just like, I don't know, you guys want a 4-man hit market? Like, they just had no idea in terms of what to do against that Core composition, which I would anticipate Moist is going to play the same thing. You're going to run out, you're going to play a Gecko, you're going to have some idea in terms of being able to get what is essentially a guaranteed plant. So for Troop, boy, oh howdy, you had 4 days to come back and figure out how to play this map, especially from the defensive side, and they got to show us something here. I'm actually very surprised Troop didn't veto this out, considering how poor they looked on it just a couple of days ago.
I apologize. I feel like I've watched way too much Valorant lately that it's just melting my mind, but it almost feels to me that when I'm trying to try to remember, sorry, how TTR played against Core when they're playing the defensive side of Sunset was very kind of similar of how Core played today, rather on the defensive side, where every time they were trying to add a little bit of pressure towards middle and to try to get a backstab into heavy hits on A, they were getting actually flanked off by Ziff that was watching that from the back end the whole time. So if that is going to be, hey, what have we learned from the last time we played against Core, and realizing now that Core doing the same thing hasn't worked out when they played earlier, maybe the fact of trying to isolate and work down middle to flank might not be the full call. Yes, you could still work down towards middle, but when you have an opportunity to play numbers, then maybe you might want to fall back and not get punished in these moments where you could over-rotate or whatnot and leverage your utility for flood retakes that you are very capable of for this team. But again, I think you're still coming out with a lot of uncertainties of what you're going to be facing off against for against MXS and what MXS could be doing to, you know, figure you out on how you've been struggling a little bit on this map for TTR.
I mean, for TTR, when they were over on the defense, the Core just took the site, and there was just, as soon as they got a hold of the site, they weren't letting up whatsoever. And Turtle Troop as well, just kind of struggling a little bit with the lack of information with what they were being dealt with their composition as well. So I do think that there is a really good opportunity here for MXS to not just take a win, but to do so in a commanding fashion. Obviously, down a map in the series, if they can just take that momentum shift into that map 3 and just have a really resounding victory there, that could just switch the tides right from there.
Yeah, I mean, the mental game, I think, does come into a little bit of play here for MXS, coming off of a couple of rounds that felt more winnable, possibly to get that to overtime at worst, if not maybe even take the map away. But now you're going into a map that you have not played in competitive history, at least in, you know, recent memory. So again, my anticipation is that we're probably going to get a mirror matchup here. It's going to be another one of those matches that you just frame up as who executes better. And for Troop, that is a lot more onus towards them, I think, personally. Even though we haven't seen MXS play this map in a couple of months, it does still feel like Troop is the team that has to come out and show us the improvement here, not what does MXS have in store, because I think they're going to play pretty much a meta composition with a Gecko, a Cypher, a Raze, you know, the same things that you see every other time you see it.
Hey, well, instead of guessing, let's see what MXS is bringing out here and what Turtle Troop has to deliver us once we head into the match. It is ready. Time for sunset. I'll see you after.
Yeah, my guess would be meta comp. Oh, not quite. You got a KO in the mix, but everything else about what you would expect. So no breach, which is interesting because, let's be honest, the fault line is perfect for pop-off plays. I mean, you call them, again, those trap plays, those barrier busters. I like to use alliteration because fun with words. You know, those opportunities to, as soon as the countdown ends, you're already fault lining, paranoying, and getting into your face. You don't have that same ability here off of the concussiveness with that, but you do get an extra flash in a way. And of course, the fragment, which can be huge too. So opportunities, and not really, you know, that weird of a comp, all things told here for MXS.
Yeah, you could pretty much flood retake the same way with a KO than a breach. Is just on your attack side when you're seeing, for example, some heavy hits towards the A site. You don't really have great opportunities to flush out the generator spot, and that's such a deadly spot for a lot of these players that are anchoring towards A. So you're gonna potentially have to be a little bit more exposed if you're going to try to like flush that out with a KO in your comp. But if not, it's still a great agent. Sierra just mentioned it before we started into this game that there was a lack of ways of getting information from how Turtle Troop were playing with the breach comp. And same thing for Core, because you're playing a double initiator that really the Dizzy is going to be able to get you some short range information, but nothing that allows you to throw knives across the map and get some heavier information right now for MXS at these early rounds so they could be a little bit more active around the defensive side. That said, it's definitely looking to be quite active as 4 of them are working towards middle. They're going to throw that one-way smoke, but all of this is just to make sure here that they could potentially just flash and swing out here on middle.
Yeah. Flashbang. Well, there's the smoke and the paranoia to come out, plus the pop flash. Mata, hello? Someone check the wind on Sunset. It's gusty. Not the cleanest start for MXS, but still plenty around to play with here, and still stepping up is Flya, who is a little bit more true to at least the first shots. Brock continuing to trade, and okay, so not the greatest opening look, but a good follow-up, but the 1v1s afterwards go the way of we did, and now it's just down to Odashiba. 1v2, long range with the classic.
Dude.
Okay. I mean, what are we looking at? And a tag on the Weeded. Odashiba technically has the advantage here.
He's got smoke and paranoia. Good luck.
Planted.
Doesn't have the health to his side, though.
All takes one set of shots. Oh my goodness. Can we just ignore that pistol round happened?
I mean, I literally was about to say that. I just watched a ranked game, and then we go into the next round because there was no protocols of trying to swing out. But I think it all initiated, though, from a flash that wasn't expected here from TTR on the attack. And once you started seeing a labor battle from both of these players towards bottom mid, everybody tried to like collapse and try to trade wherever they could, and nobody really worked in tandem, so it just became what it became. Just an unfortunate, you know, land your shots or lose a round, and it's MXS that got it on that end. So let's just erase that, go into the second round. We got some Bulldogs and a Vandal on the side of MXS, but we actually have a Stinger buy because of the plant, and they're looking to pop very quickly towards the A site. Fault line potential, there you go.
Oh, but Mata just sprays through the cyber cage. That works out. Fly from the opposite angle gets one, but B-Dog, wow, long range shots with the Stinger for the second. Absolutely beautiful stuff. So again, opening craziness in these first handful of moments. And now we find ourselves looking at a 3v3 a little bit more laboriously, although the right click into the burst gets a lot of damage tallied. Mata still stays alive.
Mata thought he had the timing already of the rotate from Otoshima and almost got caught, but there's still a winnable condition here as Stellar picks up 2 and didn't know that Otoshima's inside spawn.
What is happening? Does Otoshima do it again? Nope, not this time. Crossed up. Wow, chaos these first 2 rounds. Flat out. I mean, flat out chaos.
Yeah, it worked out very well, though, at least to initially hold that line right towards the elbow, because that was an attacker cage that was thrown by Adder, so that everybody from TTR could focus on just flooding towards the left side of that A site. But when the first contact came to with that kill, it didn't really allow for players to really rotate around and pincer maneuver towards the end. It was a great hold in the beginning from Mata, but as he lost players in the process, teammates in the process, he was a little bit left out for stranding, and when left stranded, sorry, when you had to give up the site and not be in communications of how you want to rotate together. Well, you see the advantage come through here for TTR towards the end.
And they hear the spy cam being activated and deactivated, so that will be blown up. Troop. The eco swap giving them the benefit now here in round number 3. MXS looking at potentially getting aggressive here at mid. Dizzy open over the top. Recollected. B-Dog holds his ground here. The flash is out. Wow. I mean,
down B.
Surely not. Surely not. Weeded on the cross. There we go. 2 for 1. The opening exchange. Spike still in hand. 60 seconds to go in the round.
If anything, what's been looking good so far from MXS is the pop flashes down towards bottom middle. But that's 2 times that I've done it so far. And this, I don't think it's going to be repeated anytime soon. It's okay.
Is it?
They were going to upgrade weapons anyways, right?
I mean, is it okay? This round's still not out of the realm of possibility here.
Oh my god.
Spike
What?
Down B.
What are we watching? Okay. So back and forth, Eco switches hands in 3 straight rounds, and now we get, I don't even want to call it like a, where are we? I mean, this is, I need an atlas, a globe, GPS, something of the nature, as this has been chaos.
Yeah, if anything, if I could take anything away from that one, though, is though MXS, they're on a pistol, they get a great first blood on that pick towards middle. When you lose players in the process, and you've seen this pressure coming through from TTR with 2 players, you know, your teammates died, they give you the call. Now you know there's at least only 1 player towards main. You push towards that side, you capitalize on the kill, and then you upgrade your weapons. I think that's a great little on-the-fly thinking of how you want to take control of the map, right? You don't want to fight back to where you lost everything before, but now we're investing into an early thrash because, you know, TTR, once again, they're going for a force buy. They want to keep the economy low against MXS, but they have so much money on their side at least. But at least if they get a plant, they're able to thrifty back. It's a great start. There's 1 for 1. There's 2 for 2.
Back and forth. Oh my goodness. Are we just going to do this all game?
Yeah, I don't think I need to analyze anything so far. I'm just going to let you play by play because
this is legitimately,
we're just brawling.
I was gonna use the word brawl. This is a flat out backyard brawl. Adder down to 6 HP. MXS working on the retake, and still, how are these kills coming through? Stellar 1v2. Guardian out, doesn't get the first as Flya will convert the round again. Arduous as it may be, converts the round, and MXS will go up 3-1, and we're finally going to get a round that looks close to a full buy for Troop, is what I was going to say. Not for MXS, but for Troop.
I mean, they salvaged 2 weapons right here for MXS. They can rebuy for teammates. So this should be, like, somewhat healthy. You could have small shields and something here for Otoshima. But definitely, it's going to continue to get chaotic here for this upcoming round. Hey, even look at this buy. Look at what we have towards the end. This is still going to be a healthy buy for MXS in the next round if they lose this one against TTR. And we've seen at least how the story's been read so far for us in this first half, that it's been back and forth and somewhat whimsical, if I could, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, it's a good word.
But at least for now, they're not going to be as chaotic as they usually are, right? So there's some good things coming through, trying to get information early. Now that they probably realized that an orb got picked up and it was ready here for Mata, so they want to now start pivoting towards this B site. They want to find that timing.
Cyber cage to keep that retreat safe. Paint shell's deep though. Gonna find a little bit of damage and value there, and Corey will still hold the angle. Showstopper up and out. Whoa. Bruh. I mean, way over the top of Adder. MXS will come away with the eliminations needed. Troops still trying to hold on to this post plant. It's Corey and Weeded who combined for 2. Corey, though, does get blinded out. Thrash will connect on Weeded. I mean, I feel for our observers right now. Legitimately, I feel for the ops team.
Props to the observers to catch, if not 95% of all that. Once again, big shout out here to President D's Dreams. To be able to catch wingmen's thrashes coming through groups, and how chaotic the battles have been from one corner to the next, from market, from back spawn, wingmen's once again going back and forth and crossing paths, kissing each other, and then that's it. It's just MXS capitalize on the round with Mod with 4 kills actually for the retake for MXS, and it's gonna get chaotic again. We have a stinger buy, and I mean, it's still pretty good on how TTR is managing the economy so far to continue to make this very close. And the more that you're fighting against MXS and it comes down to these 2v1s or whatnot for MXS to win towards the end, at some point, it's going to break the bank when you're finding success here for TTR, especially with the last round to use the Rolling Thunder. You had site control. Now you have an ultimate with a showstopper, and you want to make sure you avoid where Fly could be. And thankfully, they've been reading these pop flashes in the first few rounds from MXS on top middle, so they could avoid it here.
Showstopper will gain the space over towards the B zone, and Corey does land onto Vic. B-Dog off the plant. Odorous just has to hold on to market for now, wait for help. And you're gonna have to null command your way back in. Probably your only option, but honestly speaking, for TTR, they don't really need utility anymore at this point. They've used all of it. So even if you were to null command your way in, it really doesn't shut down much. Post plant moves back in towards B. So here comes the re-aggression from MXS. Knife doesn't really see too much. Teleport in and out for Weeded. Right back to the action. Mosh Pit comes through first and foremost. Brock able to head down B-Dog. Paint shells follow up. Fragment also behind this, but the defuse still not coming through to this point. Wingman's on it. Mata holding down the front door. Wingman doing his job to the best of his ability, and that'll be enough for MXS to confirm the retake and their 5th round.
And that was a good null command coming out from Fly towards the end. That doesn't allow any utility to come through. I thought that we're going to see a late lurk coming out from Stellar as he was walking all the way up middle. And I think that would have given him enough time to get a fault line out so that he could try to get a stun by the time he got towards market. But he decided to go back towards main so that he could actually help with the rest of the team to stun towards B and then just have like a 4-man stinger swing coming out of that side. But when you realize here that you're playing against a null command, you can't even smoke for yourself either to make sure that you get the best out of the value of the sprays from the stinger. And that was, again, just really well done for MXS. It gets very chaotic one more time, round after round, but it's still, dude, Weeded looks like Weeded's intimidating me. He looks like a giant looking down on me like, what are you doing? What are you doing trying to criticize me being late with my power outage? I'm going to step on you. But anyways, it still comes out to be some great plays from players that need to step up to the plate when they play these retake rounds for MXS. So again, a very dominating start for the defensive side for MXS to start things off, or at least defensive half to start things off for MXS as they did on the first half of Bind.
This goes here.
Well, it's been a different look for Troop on the map compared to when they played Core on it, but the stat line doesn't look much different.
No.
So take from that what you will. Full gun round in this one. Mata with the showstopper ready to go. Nothing crazy off the break off here, but a smoke will allow entry for Vic into B main. Mata there to just help out if needed. And then the teeth of the Otoshima setup is all over the A zone. No forward progress anywhere on the map for the side of MXS besides this B main play.
Yeah, all these opportunities and attempts that you had in your favor when you had the Rolling Thunder ready, when the Showstopper ready, you were able to get a little bit of a gamble play to try to overwhelm your opponents. But this time around, when you're only one away from a thrash, but you're giving your position away, and when you're going to control these orbs, then it allows MXS to have a better read around the map. So you just want to make sure that you stay quiet around the map. The knife actually spotted you towards towards B main. So you have to pivot things out, but at least you're not showing yourself yet. So you're kind of keeping MXS guessing. You see them going back and forth here from B main, back to market, back to B. And now they have an opportunity to overwhelm Brock at the top and middle with this fault line.
Now Mosh Pit just gives him a little bit of separation, holds off some of this troop punch, but there's already a player through. Brock going 1 for 1, not the worst news in the world.
Left.
And there's Thrash.
Deploying the backside of the site.
Oh, yeah. Monster on the loose.
Thrash gets called in. That's just going to zone out the rest of A. Showstopper out. Clear this back elbow position. Otoshima has been seen, but Mata comes out at the perfect time. Takes down B-Dog. Huge player off the map, and now Mata turns that into a double. He has had a great first half.
10 seconds left.
8 seconds on the clock. You got to make a move. Adder just gets tubed by walking in. What?
No time.
Corey gets the third, but like you mentioned, Mata's out of there. Does he get around
imagine.
the corner in time? He does. What?
Oh my God.
A set of rounds, dude.
Imagine he gets hit by the trip and the Natter is able to close the gap and kill him. Or do like enough damage that he dies from a trip at 5 HP. That would have been crazy. But I think everything was working well for TTR to work that map on the top and middle and pinch back towards the A site. The only thing that I wish that they did a little bit more to make sure that they're able to get the most value of the entry towards the A site, especially when B-Dog was in the thrash, is to have somebody on top of shop just to make sure that Mata didn't do what he did to close the gap with the Showstopper and land it right where the thrash was at. And that allowed the spike to fall and nobody was around the area to pick it back up for a plant. So yeah, that doesn't help, but will help into the occasion, into controlling B-Link back into the market once again. And that's going to give TTR an early advantage in round number 8.
Fight back, Troop trying to get themselves deep in towards mid. Flya able to find first blood, reveals all the way out with an Earl Theft, but Adder able to find himself one. Trade comes through. Brock has been so good at making sure spots just do not get able to be taken for free. Spike will be planted. Rotation back for Corey. We'll go 3v3 from here.
I got you.
Trying to make sure that they could maybe get a Dizzy up to get information, but instead they don't want to let the TTR know that they're playing inside the site. Because what they could do is just react with the fault line once you start seeing the hit coming through from TTR, and there it is.
Dizzy over the top. Stellar can still step up, not going to be affected. Mosh Paranoia on the way in. Here come MXS. Slowly but surely on their way in towards the site. Mata thought about going up high, but Drip responding to it decently. Corey just holding on to his shells. That pops over the top. Brock on for the defuse initially. The paint shell's finding tons of value into Brock. Corey,
yeah, women's down.
He's predicted this perfectly. Now's the last swing, and Corey will find the final 2 for the clutch in the second round for True.
Very done in the end, right? You don't want to let them know that you're playing inside the site, just as we were just calling it before. So it allows for them, now that you're forcing the hands for MXS to come back. You could fault line back, you could Dizzy and flash, and that's what they did. They broke the Dizzy on the side of MXS, so you know that there's players coming from the back. And in the end, it allows Corey to just slip through the net, hold from shop, and just be the last line to reinsurance with the paint shells to land it at the right spot and just win the round on time. And all these rounds have been labored. And look at this. Yes, there's still a buy that's possible here for MXS, but they're not in the best of buys. They're still at small shields despite the scoreline that was at 6-1. And Corey gets a great opening here towards B. And that's going to work the map here. You're going to force TTR to maybe push the 2 players out towards A, and the camera's going to spot them. And TTR, they have an opportunity now to decide if they want to fight back towards this site or not.
We're pixeled away. Mata does get seen. A couple of tags on the side of the wall work out. That pushes MXS off the angle.
Ooh, the knife missed.
Yeah.
Look at that. Everybody's rotating out towards the B side because of that knife.
Absolutely. How big that little piece of contact was, that it was only Adder that throws shots. So you're absolutely right. weak sided over towards B, and the knife missing has drawn MXS towards the B site. And Troop have not used any utility to clear out elbow. So they're going to burst onto site here with absolutely nobody home. Mata's going to re-wrap back over through tiles, but it's going to be simply put, too late. I mean, there's going to be a plant here immediately.
And it's a five-player hit or post plant here for TTR. I don't know if you're going to try to go for this unless Mata goes nuclear again. And here's the first point of obstacle.
Same contact. Adder still the first one to see it. Flash over the top. Mata makes good use of it, although he is taken down low. Corey pulled at the opposite angle, but not going to work out. We did Stellar, both combined for 2 at the same moment. And Corey sees more over towards the connector at A main. And yep, that's enough for MXS to say, we're not interested. Good round, go next.
Definitely booking it back and losing this round here. You remember the state of the game, right? TTR just won the last round, so losing this one here puts them at 2,400. So saving these 2 rifles would allow here for Brock and Fly to only get 1,000 credits, but for the rest, maybe to buy for teammates on top of that. But you see them hunting for it. Fly is able to stay alive for a bit. And that's it. The other ones are too far away. You know the economy is quite low as well for TTR, so you can't sacrifice too many bodies to fight against MXS. And I think we're going to get to that point again, Shift. Another brawly round where it's going to break the econ for the better or for the worse for either of these teams. So a big swing round to try to gain the momentum and maintain that lead for MXS, or an opportunity for TTR to maybe even make this rather a clean slate in the second half.
Yep. Tools on the table here for Troop, and I think the thing is knowing that there's a save.
Yeah.
Why not try to make something bursty happen here? And that is indeed the case. No showstopper though. It's just a quick burst through.
Oh
and
my!
Mata gets him before the cyber cage goes up, and the follow-up is good. I mean, pull your hair out. This has been the most wild opening half of Sunset between 2 top teams that you're ever gonna see.
And I'm here for it. Dizzy gets a blind.
The spike.
I could respect it. At least we'll talk about it in a bit, though. The spike was able to actually get picked up, and there's an opportunity to rework the map.
We did miss the window right there. Had a look over towards that backside connector. Flash out. MXS still holding back, and it's a pixel peek off the dark cover from Mata. That works out onto Edit. So yeah, the spike gets planted, but you've got a 5v2. And it just feels like a matter of time. Adder has been great in these moments, though. Not this time, though. MXS get the clean, flawless wipe, and free weapons with that. So once again, the Eco just exchanges hands, man. Why buy weapons when your opponents can buy weapons for you, it feels like?
And I said, at least they invested, like, what? I guess they saved the 3 rifles, and then they had the 2 sheriffs around there. But I could respect Corey not going for the showstopper when we had the question mark of how they exploded very quickly and not utilize it. It's because that's a spot where Flyer plays, right? He plays top middle, that he can flash down towards bottom mid. He's been throwing these knives from shops to get information towards A. So they knew it was one of those moments where if they tried to go for an ult, they were probably going to get that instantly canceled by a knife being thrown out, and then you're still left stranded trying to enter the site. If anything, it was such a sick shot coming out from Mata from the satchels in, and now Mata's going to try to do the opposite.
Our showstopper, though, on the other side, predictably thrown, doesn't hit anything, and the same will be said here for Corey. Just no one inside of market. So Troop will get full control of the site. Corey going to stay deep inside of B with Sheriff out. Adder. Goodness gracious, this guy could just get it done cleanly with the worst weapons. Over towards market.
Oh, boy.
Mata 1 for 1. Odashima still holding on to the angle. Follow up from his teammate, but Weeded is in good position. Oh, but he's blinded up, and Brock follows up with a kill. 2v2.
Seller stays inside the site. Women canceled.
Yeah, Adder on the other side. Crossfire set up for MXS. Who finds what? Oh, it's Miller! From the back of the site, he wins his 1. Odashima turns, tries to burn, but doesn't work, and Troop get 4 with a chance at 5 to finish off the half.
And it was almost the same buy that we saw here from TTR. 3 rifles, a stinger, and a pistol, versus MXS's 3 rifles and 2 pistols the round before, and it's converted for the ones with the lower buy. And look at the scoreline towards the end. It's still 7-4, and there's still an opportunity to close that gap to a 7-5 because you are healthier in the ult economy department for TTR, and they're looking to just default to start things off, and they can't really allow MXS to go for any of those trap plays that you know you called me out for liking to call those. But it's just because both of these teams are just fighting for their lives at different parts of the map.
Well,
they're just giving their tell at the beginning.
And here's the thing about it is why this map has been so entertaining is that MXS are not sitting here saying, we're just going to play retake. Like, you guys take the site, we'll try our retake versus your execute. This is, we're contesting everything. And it leads to moments like this where individual players are going to pop off even in the most unexpected of circumstances. Speaking of things, how about this? Oh, danger here as Vic just barely gets out of dodge. Oh, the follow up though, the Rolling Thunder, everyone affected by that. Troop to storm their way into sight. Mata back of the site does at least tally up one. So a chance to still hold on to this as both the Dizzy and the Paranoia have also been spent. Brock through market? I mean, are we watching all this? What is happening? And now Mata can come back in. 4v3 turned to a 3v1. Corey by himself can get nothing. Unbelievable and a poetic way to finish what was a chaotic first half.
Oh my God, everything looks so good to start things off though. The Thrash that went towards middle to the market to get information that market's clear, and on top of that, pull a Rolling Thunder so that your entries are going to be the cleanest as possible because the Thrash already got all that info. But instead, we use the Wingman for the extra body to look back into the market to make sure that it stays clear, and then you're forcing players now to go for a full plant with the market not even being smoked.
Wow.
And through again the chaos, there's just some things that slip in terms of the execution, and that's because it doesn't seem like an execution that's practiced at this point. It's just on the fly, these type of plays that you're trying to leverage off of, and unfortunately, it's MXS that stays it all off. Again, Mata just popping off here in this half. Now pissed around on the way. 4 ghosts for MXS's side. TTR with 3 on their end. Boombot clearing, breaking util. Now it weakens out the A side hold for TTR and allows here for MXS to maybe start playing the contact way up unless B-Dart throws another Dizzy here from sight at the right moment.
And he very well may be in the prime position to do just that. And this little moment of pause for MXS, honestly speaking, I won't say it's been countered by Troop just proactively moving in towards the site, but in a way it has been. Just comes down to Otoshima trying to play for this lurk through mid. How much can he read in terms of really no one being home over towards the B site? And with the knife being deleted, now Troop have stepped forward at A main. It's going to force the rotation for MXS, and Stellar's going to hear all this.
Yeah. Especially when the fault line actually hit. Otoshima was trying to jump backwards. And all you're trying to do here is to keep the camera once everybody's grouped together to try to play the retake.
Well, here comes Paranoia out for the defense. A quick reprisal back into the site. Mata gets the first. Right clicks are landing, but they're not connecting for full damage. A little bit of a battle back here for Troop. Weeded in particular takes down 2. Otoshima wins another 1v1, leaves Weeded by himself. He's going to get this to at least halfway. Does he try to hold this? Sure is.
God,
There's not an angle on it from Market, and it just keeps on providing. A Zippo clutch for Troop, a pistol win, and an extra kill at the end because why the hell not?
I think my neck's going to get strained with the amount of times I'm just shaking my head all these rounds shift. This is insane now. They're able to pull this out from both of these teams. Just continuous magic coming out of a hat. All those labored shots, once again, a piss around that was just like, why are these shots not hitting? And then Weeda just does that. Again, just towering down on me after that clutch on a 1 versus 2. And now the economy is aplenty. And unfortunately here, or maybe fortunately at this point, because there's been a plant, but there's no stinger by to come through, just making a lot of noise towards B main, and everybody's just there to receive him.
Yeah, Adder. Okay. Just at the range right now. A little headshot practice for him. Weeded also getting involved. Says that looks like fun. A little right-click bulldog action. And with Otoshima and Brock being the last 2 left, see what you can get here. But no, this is this right here is one of the first rounds where we haven't seen anything unpredictable happening.
Yeah,
coming true.
Good, normal, honest Valorant. Actually, you know what? Broad just picked up a sheriff. He's gonna somehow collat these 2 on market.
Wait, stop it! Stop it!
That's spike, Wings.
They're gonna play.
Oh my God,
dude! If Brock gets another here,
dude.
Wait, this is still winnable.
Yes, because Adder is 1 body shot away here And
Absolutely.
Otoshima has a forward position. The thing is, though, they have a dizzy for B-Dog once they start the retake, so that might give the tell here towards the top site.
Well, Brock still holding on. Couple of tags, and he hits a shoulder. If he hits Stellar in the face, B-Dog and Adder are both one deagle shot away.
Exactly. Adder at 16 towards the end. You saw there was a body shot. I think that hit B-Dog on top of that. Dude, if that was, dude, Broctagon, for sure. You just call that spot Broctagon at that point. Just make a spray paint or something after that, but at least no shenanigans came through towards the end. TTR, though, they don't have the best of bonus rounds this time around, and they have to play a Guardian here onto Corey, and I wonder if they're going to try to take a little bit more mid-control because of that, or just try to put him on top of the boxes to watch down bottom A. So Dizzy's going to find information first at the beginning of the round, and then you're going to try to see here if you're going to rotate Corey towards middle to try to fight a little bit more, because it seems like the pressure is there once again. Reedit's there, the fault line's ready just in case to assist. Oh yeah, it's an early read here towards B.
Yeah, Thrash out for it. Weeded over the top. He connects. Sure does.
Oh my god.
I mean, it just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Vic is forward. He is a little isolated here. Paranoia is mostly pretty on a selfish basis. The counter is actually decent here from True, plus the Dizzy afterwards, but they can't find re-entry into the site as of yet. Corey tags out Mata. Time becomes a bit of an issue here. 5v3 situation. Here comes the breakdown. It's just down to the one last player left, and how about the freaking Turtle Troop? What?
We did just pull the 10s, but if we had a Vandal, he would have probably killed all 5. Just from looking at how he was placed, he was ready to go for the shot, and just lands a beautiful one. I saw that it was a body damage, but then I looked back at the bottom. I was like, who did he hit through? Because nobody else lost HP. But oh yeah, it was through the wall right there. So, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy that it still ends up being a headshot and Brock dies, and the spike falls. And that's one of those moments where you kind of wish, like, Wingman just went for the plan. But it doesn't matter. They still got the plan for MXS. They still have an economy where, you know, we were surprised that it didn't go for a buy, just like Turtle Troop on that second round. But they'll do it here. So 3 Stingers and a Guardian. 1 Bulldog grouped up together as a death ball to work towards middle. And they're trying to isolate Market. Trying to break that very quickly.
Cage trigger.
Oh, that will work out. Corey will drop first blood. That's through Market. So plan is executed and finds what it was meant to. Knife also, keep in mind, did reveal B-Dog on the A site, but not a lot of intel in terms of was anyone playing forward here at A. That's the only question mark that MXS currently have towards what looks to be an A execute. And how about this rewrap through mid and through tiles? If they could find some timing here, they may catch a couple of players while they're still trying to hit into A.
Yeah, and I'm liking this. So they broke the camera, and you're still throwing that one way towards short A, but there's no trip watching that flank, so they might be able to find a timing if Otoshima doesn't keep watching it here, but he only has a stinger.
Well, he's got to watch 2 things at once. He has to watch the flank, and he has to watch the connection, and the neural theft, instead of being collected by Otoshima, goes the way of Adder, and now everything is known for MXS,
oh my God.
And they do get caught at elbow. Oh my goodness! You have the Aftershock also being thrown through. MXS trapped on site. And it all comes down to the battle between Cyphers on the backside of A main.
Yep. And that allowed here Stellar to throw out his fault line from shop so that they didn't give a chance here for MXS to just flood out towards the elbow to go for that plant. That's where you're like, hey, how come they're still stuck towards elbow, not watching their backs? But that was just the assist from Stellar, the IGL once again of TTR, allowing this backstab to continuously happen after the first pick. Well done here from Adder. But if anything that I could take out of this so far is Mata's still popping off right now, 23-9, and they have an opportunity here to come back in this game if they could. Rifles are back in their favor. Op, though, in the hand of Corey to watch towards B main. So TTR could just really focus on playing some passive middle. Try to delay as much as they can. Oh, okay. We talked about passive, but Mata took advantage of that.
And losing Stellar is critical bad news for Troop. Losing on the
and there's a
the flashes, the aftershock, the hack is also in. MXS off to the races here today. Adder, what can you do? The whole world on your shoulders at the moment. Moshpit flushing him out, steps into it. Brock gets the information. Showstopper also gonna be committed, but Troop from the back of the site. It's not Adder at all. He pulls so much focus and attention that the other defenders collect the kills. But Troop cannot hold on to the rotation, and MXS will wrap it back to B for a post plant.
And they just caught. The reason why they rotated across there is Corey couldn't line up at least a second kill, and he caught him. So they rotate towards this A site, or sorry, this B site. Trip now being broken, so it gives it timing right now for MXS to just get ready to set up on a high-low.
Well,
oh, the thrash goes the wrong place, though.
It clears that market. The problem is Otoshima up top will make sure that there is no craziness here.
Dizzy's down.
Dizzy out.
This might be a
off
save.
Get out of here. Yep, exactly the call. Yep.
Kind of wish here that the thrash was actually pathing towards where we could actually move forward behind it. And that would have probably given it a great opportunity here for TTR to just set up here on a 2 versus 2. But I mean, it's understandable, right? They rotated with no information for TTR. There was a plant that was very quick. A trip and a camera gets information, and they're both top mid. So you just want to make sure that MXS didn't gain that space back towards the market. If they actually did gain that space towards the market, it would have given Weeded an opportunity to walk back towards Boba. So it was just a 50-50 call, and unfortunately in the favor of MXS. Unfortunately for MXS, though, it was around that, you know, it should have been a much cleaner than that after they got the initial pick and the hat to get all of that information where TTR were kind of set up. Yet it still came down to that 2v2. Op still available, though, so we'll try to leverage that towards the A site for Corey.
What does MXS call here? So close. Another offense, the thrash in particular for Brock, the one that's most exciting, to be sure. But Flya could also earn himself an ult command, which can be very useful in holding a post plant. So lots of things to consider here as the Boombot does get deleted over towards B. It'll be the Thrasher in first. No instant call for it. MXS still happy to try to feel out the map a little bit.
I was going to say very quiet for sure. I mean, at this point, you're in the late rounds of that second map where you don't want to throw any mistakes out here for MXS. Especially when the first map should have been yours. And this second map potentially should have been yours too when you had such a strong lead, right? We talked about a 6-1 / maybe even 7-1 scoreline. One-sided affair for MXS at the very beginning of all of these halves, yet TTR always finds a way to come back. And unfortunately, though, for this time for MXS, it's 4 players looking to activate towards B. The knife does get Corey with the up. There's still 4 players from TTR here playing a 4-1.
Wait, that aftershock is so good. Wait a second. Stellar predicts that beautifully. And the entire hit gets quelled due to one aftershock. Are you
That's
kidding?
what happens. I mean, that's something that should be known here for MXS. That's probably the reason why you're seeing more and more breach in your composition, because it could instantly counter the utility being thrown out by the wingman and by the gecko.
The paranoia cuts across through market side, but Trooper already in position. The spike gets dropped.
Time.
And MXS, like you mentioned, are not going to have time to get a plan off. Now it's just trying to see if they can hold on to these weapons, which even that feels hard-pressed to do. Somehow, some way, we are at a 9-9 score. I would fret to see anyone who tries to break down this game.
I mean, I'm trying to. I'm your color caster here. I'm trying to make sense out of this so far, but yeah, that's a beautiful replay that shows us how it's so good. And even then, it almost looked like Brock threw that ult even further back at B main, yet Stellar was still ready for that and shot it at the right spot to get the kill. That's some knowledge here coming out from Stellar at this point now for TTR. So many hashtags coming out, right? Sign Turtle Troops, sign Dobros. Like, why are these guys not picked up? Why is Stellar not picked up, right? There's a reason why he was in IGL for 100 Thieves in the past.
Dude, Dobros need to shoot their shot and just try to see if they could get a petition out for a Krispy Kreme sponsorship. Just really lean in to the brand.
Dude, I'd be so down to find endemic sponsors outside of just a regular endemic esports sponsors. I think it would be so cool. Didn't you see that Maryville got a sponsorship with Brant Sanderson?
I did not see that.
Yeah. So the one that writes, I only started reading recently. It was a recommendation from Esports Doug to read these novels from him, and it's actually quite cool fiction. And now he's partnered up with Maryville to, I think, run challengers for League, which is dope.
That's crazy.
So yeah, just a little fun fact for absolutely no reason, chat, but check it out. Shout out to Maryville. 9-9 scoreline, half wide coming out. Quick push down towards bottom mid. And that's where, again, TTR got punished in the past there against Core when they were trying to do those type of plays.
Same situation here. But, interestingly enough, that kill comes through, and the weapon does not get picked up. It's not immediately. Odorous is going to go back for it. Paranoia out for the offense, cutting across the B site. No one in position to stall this out as of yet. Adder still holding the back of the site. Flya on the swing. Gets seen, but can't make much good of it. Vic also trying to follow up. Adder taking some damage, but still alive to tell the tale. Keep in mind, Odoshima is on the flank, and this is happening pretty darn quickly. Null Command stalls out the troop retake. And here comes the lurking Cypher. Odoshima for one. Give him two. And from the front, Adder does what he can, but flat out, B-Dog with an operator by himself is not going to have a chance to recontest this.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
He's got wingman.
No way. No way. No way. Shorty, no way, period. End story. Thrifty, go next.
I mean, they're rich, right? They could do this over on TTR. It's even though they lost a Thrifty round here to Moistic Shopify, this is still going to force a lot of buys coming through, right? It's a plant, it's a victory, it's 3,300. It's 4 players with small shields. If you still want to go with some sort of rifle, you actually have an opportunity to bring out an outlaw and still do some great damage here. But instead, they're still going to decide to go for an operator this time around and leverage it still on B-Dog. I mean, he is the main operator usually in the past for this team, especially on maps where you have to play Jet. And now you have a showstopper on top of that for Corey. The knife, though, only spots B-Dog. So they don't know where Corey's at right now. They still have to try to flush him out and snuff him out if he's hanging out towards top mid or not. And all this is a camera play. You see that Adder is still in his camera watching towards the B link. They have a fault line ready from Stellar to look down towards that tiles as well so that they could showstopper right into that spot. But now that it stays calm, they realize here that it's leaning more towards somewhere else. Actually,
yeah. I was gonna say
after that ult, yeah, it stops things.
Yeah, it just kind of puts a pause, and nothing really earned, but nothing really lost for either side off of any of this. It's just very quiet.
They're just banking on this, right?
Yeah.
So the op covers that lane down from B-Dog, so they have good map control. The knife doesn't really do anything yet. They still have the camera and Paranoia to help out on middle on top of the showstopper.
He's gonna peek it. Yeah, Vic's looking for more information, and then the showstopper behind it. That's such a good adaptive gut check call from Droop. And now you know the hit has to be over towards B, but you don't have to worry about any lurks. Everything's right in front of you. And for MXS, they're going to try to get forward, try to get deep.
Oh.
No diddy. And now you've got yourself a situation where Brock is finding himself just completely upriver without a paddle. Although, he does make it interesting.
Can't be any cleaner than that, right? All of that, everything that was predicted on how TTR wanted to run, just like a book. Maybe that's why we're talking about Brendan Sanderson, which was read like a book. Tied 10-10.
Wow.
And what economy, once again, I mean, could be broken at this point here for MXS. It depends if they want to buy around Vic.
I mean, they definitely can, because you're going to have at least some sort of a buy. So
yeah,
they're going to give it a go. And I think the thing is, you've got the Thrasher, so there is the opportunity, even if you don't use it for the execute, you can try to use it to isolate in some way. But the commitment from Troop, I think just first of all, the operator, like you called out perfectly, there's an extra step from Vic trying to see if there's anything over towards A main. That's where the punish happens, and then the gut check call for Corey to say, I think we've got someone over at mid. Let me pop the showstopper. That worked out nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was the camera too, though. The camera spotted Adder, and that, Odoshima, and that just started everything too for that second kill with the showstoppers. So all that was into play. Everything was locked down from the get-go from TTR.
Thrash down, doesn't find much. Op works out for B-Dog. Instantly traded. Weeded still holds on to the cross through A main, though. Neural theft also immediately earned and then spent. That's for Odoshima. So information on where the defense is positioned, and MXS will take that as a chance. They actually get a very far back post-man setup around A. Follow-up, though. Adder going to get the neural theft to see where the retake would come from. And with the cage down, Odoshima, he's got the op in hand, and he hits! But the trades are decent. Just down to Brock. Backside elbow. Flash doesn't fully hit, doesn't make a difference. Weeded finds the kill, and Trip gets to 11. Economy shattered for MXS.
Is this happening again, Shift?
Yes.
Is this about to happen again?
Yes, it is. Show me a 5-man Sheriff Thrifty round. Call it up.
If not, it's TTR, a map in series point, where they were trailing behind by so much. And a map here picked by MXS that we haven't seen since, if we're talking about Ludwig and Tarek Invitational, this is off-season moment. So probably not since like October, November, pretty much, when that series of off-season events happened, right? There was that the Sora event, there was a Ludwig Invitational, there was more coming through. That Oxygen was winning almost every single one. And now we get to the point here that MXS has an opportunity to pull this out after studying a lot of tape of how this comp should be played. And now they have to play against the comp that's fairly similar with a Breach. And you kind of know how to read that, right? You kind of know how to play against that.
Yeah,
but then, I mean, most of that first half didn't really come down to too many tactics.
No.
Right?
Not to soften it up, but yes.
but now that you have an opportunity to do that now for the later half of this map, it's still been pretty much the closest game so far. That it's great reads coming through from both of these teams, but it's just unfortunate that money is finally not on your side here for MXS.
Yes, this should do.
It's too late right now to figure out how TTR is really playing their defensive side.
Yep. And this is all about trying to do what you can.
Exactly. Got to work magic again. Got to get your. I mean, they had great success off the lurk from Otoshima before with the Spectre. Maybe that's the winning condition once again here for MXS.
Well, look at the setup here from Troop. Trusting the trap wires on the double stack over towards A. B-Dog only gets one, but is the operator really a tool you really want to try to commit forward to pick up for MXS? They're happy with the 1-for-1 for now. Also, a lot of utility spent here as Mata maybe looking for a piece of timing. He does see the footsteps over to his left. Fault line getting committed in, but Mata sidesteps it and everything stays a 4v4.
And that's the thing, like when they were walking contact, sacrificing one life for Otoshima, hoping that when we did the trade, he was going to overextend after the paranoia to chase for those kills, because there's one of them that wasn't affected. And I like it here from TTR. They maintain composure off the chaos that MXS was trying to unravel at the beginning of this round, and they play a safe 2-1-1 setup because you still have those trips that you mentioned here from Adder towards A.
Oh, this knife will hit on towards Stellar, so no utility from the Breach to hold off. Smoke through Paranoia out. The showstopper on the way in. Corey! Oh, just immediately says, get down. Finds the first blood. Boombot now pushing through. A chance for Stellar to get these flashes involved. And just a raw push out from Weedon.
Through the smoke.
I mean, unreal stuff. Adder over the back. They stopped the spike initially, but the follow-up is decent, and we got a 3v2. Corey trying to work his way in. Both moist players watching over the top. Brock with the rifle. 1v1 with Stellar. Does he get the wide swing? No, he doesn't. Troop find a round. Stellar with the headshot will put us on series point.
You couldn't ask for anybody better for both of these teams at the 1 versus 1 to clash at that moment. Stellar at 14 HP, it almost looked like it was going to be a done deal for Brock to be able to win that 1v1 and to clutch that out here for MXS and keep them in the game. I mean, they're still in this right now because they have the loss bonus in the plant, but TTR are running with that momentum. Another one of those situations when it boils down to the potential last 2 rounds of regulation. Map series point, 3 ults available for TTR, a full rifle round for MXS, grouped up together for potential last hurrah towards this B site, but a fault line and Paranoia are ready to stop them.
The thing about it is you just feel like based on how this series has gone, these ults may not make much of a difference, but here's the very firm push through. And that's B control. Immediately earned from Truth, but it's a key ultimate off the table, and MXS have lived through it, so that's one off the table, I guess you could say.
And they grab the ult on top of that. Or sorry, they still have the ult for B-Dog. Sorry, they were trying to control here towards this B main, but forced to fall back here for MXS towards this A site. But this has to be, you have to do your due diligence, and facing the adversity under this pressure, you have to make sure that you check these corners. If not, it's going to be GG right here.
Yeah.
A smoke to start first. Okay, that knife is good, though.
That's
the nice spots, both of them.
Yeah, and that's enough for MXS to say, nope, not interested. Do you have a thrash ready? Nah, we're good, thanks. So now it's just a quick push, immediately transitioned over towards the B market. Paranoia allows them in. The only thing that they need to worry about here is Weeded is playing a dangerous corner. And Odashiba does get trapped up by the Thrash, but the aforementioned player in Weeded does get sniffed out. Adder inside the side. What an angle from Adder! 2 for 1 the trade. Post-plant setup is not concentrated, but stellar. Sloppy versus Vic gets us to a 2v2. And B-Dog, who picks up the Thrash, will send it out again, but he's just got an operator. Showstopper earned for Corey. Vic has to dance with the devil in a couple of different ways. And he's avoided everything.
Gooped.
Corey off the defuse for now. Wingman out. B-Dog hits the shot, and Troop will get a 13-10 after a 9-3 comeback in the first. It's just chaos from start to finish here on Sunset for a Troop 2-0.
I forgive you for delaying this game for so long because of your power going out, but holy crap, were we in for a treat in these 2 maps. I mean, look how Corey's smiling so much, and it just had to leave after. And look at that, Adder getting some props here. Was that Mr. Funhaver? I think that was, right? I think that was Tim. Well, I mean, you got it at this point. Great series overall. Great matches coming through. And towards the end here, I mean, that kill that you said, the one that we got there from Corey allowed the showstopper to happen for them to win that 2 versus 1. And if there was a slight communication to say, hey, I'm going to ult towards B main, watch to see if somebody's there so they can isolate that fight and guarantee that kill, there was a potential here to see an overtime. 2 maps that could have gone into overtime, but unfortunately here for MXS, it's TTR that pulls through in the final moments here, Sierra.
What a series coming out, especially coming out from Turtle Troop. That Sunset, I mean, I went into this with pretty low expectations considering what we got to see last week. And to see this turnaround, to see the calling, to see the absolute chaos shift. I mean, I felt like y'all are losing your minds at most points during that. It was
not for the best moments, not for the best moments, but like we're definitely pulling hairs at the beginning of the rounds, but definitely once we got to that second half, I saw some great Valorant here from both of these teams. And yes, it could have gone either way going into that second half, and the later half of that second half rather.
Well, it's just the simple fact of the matter of this is one of the first times we've seen a sunset between 2 top squads where the post-plant numbers were this sloppy. Like, this was a messy game of Sunset, and it ended up providing some immense entertainment, don't get me wrong. But 2 thrifties, 4 total clutches, and post plans that make this map look like it's impossible to hold a post plant, which we haven't really said those words since like opening qualifiers and the beginning of stage 1, where some of our opening squads had a really tough time figuring out how to hold post plants on Sunset. This though was very different because at no real point did we have anything greater than a 3v3, it felt like, after a spike had been planted. Almost everything was 2v2s, 2v4s, things of that nature. I mean, legitimately, it was a wild game. And I think that's to be somewhat expected because both of these 2 teams are still trying to figure this map out, I mean, so to speak. But that's, I think, just the overarching point of both these 2 teams do not want to let a 5-man post plant happen. They want to contest everything as soon as the barriers drop. And when we get these odd man numbers where it is 2v3s, 2v4 situations, things go wrong. And that was kind of the overarching spark note, it felt like, over how these post plant setups and re-executes were coming through. It was just a very different style of Sunset from what we've seen from the last handful of weeks.
Yeah.
I'll take a different Sunset than what we see. And I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely a great time. We'll chat a little bit more about that in a minute, but I have B-Dog on the line and have to go over to our interview, chat a little bit more about this series. Congratulations, what a victory coming out to that Sunset as well. I right away want to start talking about this because this was a very different look than what we saw last week. What was the biggest difference in just a week's worth of time?
I would say the biggest difference is we're playing Moist Shopify, not Core. No disrespect to the guys,
biggest.
But yeah, no disrespect to the guys, but they, you know, I don't know if Sunset's their map. They tried to do some like veto cheese on us, and you know, we were confident in our Sunset the whole time, despite that Core game. we knew we had it. So obviously we had some big clutches bank us out, but we were confident.
Glad to hear that confidence. And that Sunset was a really fun match to be watching because it was kind of chaotic. So you're saying that, hey, the team's feeling confident. And I want to reiterate, because you're saying MXS, that they're just trying for a little bit of map pick and ban cheese. Like, you're not really feeling like they had a grasp on the Sunset based on what we just got to see.
Yeah, it seems like they just like took a comp and just copied what they saw some other teams doing. Honestly, I think they had a better chance just like picking, you know, Icebox or Split just off rip. But, you know, I think they tried to catch us off because they saw we did bad. And I think, you know, we, like I said, like we were confident the whole time. So obviously that was really hectic though. So, you know, some things went our way, but still.
Hey, it makes for some fun Valorant for us to watch. We definitely enjoyed that. I want to talk a little bit about Stellar here in this IGLing, because it was something that we on the desk have been absolutely raving about, and we got to see a lot of really great things called today. And I just want to know your thoughts too about Stellar so far in stage 2.
Yeah, Stellar's been amazing. He's been doing a lot for us. Like, that's an understatement. You know, he's coming up every day. He's showing us defaults. You know, he's doing a lot of things that, you know, people get a coach for. You know, he's calling the timeouts. He's keeping the team in check. He's keeping the team disciplined. He's doing it all, you know, just him. And the fact that he's able to, you know, be such a great IGL at the same time of doing all that, I think it just shows that, you know, he's in a league that he shouldn't be in. And I think that can go for a lot of people on our team, if not everyone on our team. But yeah, Stellar's, he's been great, and very like happy to be playing with the guy.
I mean, I appreciate that you say that you feel everyone on the team's at that caliber, because I definitely think Turtle Troop has been a little slept on, considering what we've been able to see out here. And then I want to talk about you and just the agent pool that we get to see, because we're seeing you now on the Sage on Bind. We're getting to see kind of a lot of different roles from you. So I want to know how you're feeling about these roles, executing them, and then also still like in your heart, what's your favorite of them all?
Yeah, so honestly, I think, you know, I still love playing Jet, but, you know, metas shift, change, and we have Corey, who's just so amazing on Duelist as well. So we kind of just like, when we formed the team, we were just like, yo, like, you just want to split the roll up, like have me up on Jet and he just plays, you know, the other Duelist. And it kind of just happened like that. And so, like, honestly, I think he could play Jet, but, you know, it doesn't even matter. Like, we're just having fun at this point. Like, we just like to have fun, you know, like this guy's playing Cypher on Ascent. I'm getting to play Sage on Bind. Like, we're just trying to have fun, you know, make up some fun comps. And being able to do it has been a blast, you know. It's fun to learn a new role and, you know, try to show what I've learned.
I mean, the fun philosophy is working out. Great 2-0 victory today and 2-0 start to Split too. You know, thanks so much for chatting. Congrats yet again. Have a good rest of your night, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. You too.
Thank you. Thank you. As for us, back over to the desk. I mean, you're not saying they're just having fun. Again, because we left it off here. That Sunset looked fun. But honestly, fans, I love to just hear just the behind the scenes of the teams and just enjoying all of this so far. They're looking confident while doing it.
Dude, and I love the props that, you know, you're hearing it from B-Dog with the rest of the team. I mean, the amount of respect that are given to Stellar on top of that too. And he's probably a guy that, you know, works in and out. If he's the one that's showing all the defaults and stuff like that too, it shows how selfless he could be. Like when you're at a position where, you know, you're playing for a free agent team, you've played for one of the best organizations that we currently have in Valorant in 100 Thieves, and you know you got cut at that point. Let's be blunt at that moment, but you're still taking the time to leverage and uplift the up and coming players that are almost there but need that pro experience. And Stellar's been there, right? He's played on the champion stage in 2022 with that team of 100 Thieves, and now he could bring that experience into 4 other guys that, you know, could make it into that stage one day. And I love that he's taking that time to share all that wisdom to the rest of the team. And we're seeing how, which is why we're seeing like TTR kind of like Dobros, kind of like maybe not really wanting to switch through, you know, comps or players or teammates or whatnot, because they could just excel as a team.
And being able to see that with a group of people that are having fun and being able to have all these role swaps and everything else, a little bit unorthodox in what we see from our other teams, I definitely do enjoy. But it is a Turtle Troop that we won't get to see again until next week. Because of course we're gonna have a lot of other great teams that we need to see, guys. All right, so pulling up the schedule. This is just the first day of Valorant. Don't worry, there is still gonna be a lot more shift. All right, hold your horses here.
That was just such a good what? Oh no, I'm really
It's been a long day. It's been a long day again. My brain's melting again.
I'm excited for tomorrow, man. We got both collegiate teams squaring off. YFP, I still don't think is getting as much favor in the community as I think they deserve. Granted, they did 2-0 a sad esports team that is looking, I would say, probably the least improved off of the first week. But YFP looked pretty solid, man. I thought they put together a lot of great ideas. I thought their mid-rounding was good. And then on the flip side, Winthrop had a really solid map 3 winner versus the Fluffy Aimers. So, you know, I think that tomorrow's games are going to be really interesting. Another kind of litmus test to see how good is Blinn going to be after taking a strong TSM team all the way the distance in 3. Granted, there was, you know, the power of Sherb being brought into the mix for that one.
Sherb!
You know, the stat still lives on. That TSM still undefeated with Sherb on the roster. So got that. But I think the big matchup, oddly enough, is going to be that Fluffy Aimers versus Sad Esports game. I think right now both those two teams are looking like two of the most troubling in terms of trying to stay away from a relegation run again. So that matchup right there is going to feel like a must-win early on for both of those guys to get a win.
I have so much thoughts when seeing all of these matchups. I still think that like this Blinn M80 should win this, but Blinn, if anything, have shown me that they are definitely capable of going to toe-to-toe with a couple of these teams. So some fun little upset potential there. But we gotta wait until tomorrow for that, and that is unfortunately everything for today. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Van Shifty for being awesome and chaotic. Y'all have fun. I know, y'all are awesome, for real. And of course, thank you for production. We'll see you all tomorrow. Give Vans a much-deserved day off. Enjoy the rest of your night. See you then.
Bye.
One enemy remaining. 30 seconds.